Namaste, beloveds. I wanted to do today's show because I'm so used to doing the radio show. Um, excuse me. I wanted to share a reading today with you from the cards, and of course, it's coming from the. Let's see. Can you see it? There we go. FFIONA, Daughters of the Moon Tarot. And I was told to pull three cards. Um, the first card that I'm going to share jumped out of the deck. And of course, this is a card that has great meaning to me because it's been a recurring message from the grandmothers. So I'm going to share it. I want you to see it. There we go. And again, these cards are very specific and they show women's body parts. So if you have a problem with that, that's on you. Deal with it. Get over it. Okay, I just wanted to show that card to you. And that is the Three of Blades. And it's a very deep card. There we go. And I'm going to share what FFIONA says about this card that she designed. And then I'll give you a little bit more of my feedback from it myself. Three of Blades, focus. When you focus on something, you pay close attention to it. Focusing is a necessary and powerful element for working magic. In order to create material reality, it is necessary to develop the ability to channel focused energy using mental concentration. Moving energy of all kinds, sometimes called running energy by psychics, is an art form which requires a focus of mind and spirit. In healing work, for example, psychic energy is channeled into the body, sent to the appropriate place, and the energy of sickness is channeled out of the body, then grounded in the earth. The focus card also addresses how we pay attention to others, thereby empowering them. The celebrity or star system is an example of unbalanced, focused attention. We all deserve and need recognition. If anyone gives and receives, there is no scarcity or need to compete, as there will be enough for everyone. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. A tilted or reverse aspect of this card is the phenomena of tunnel vision, whereby a person is focused so intently on one reality that they can't see anything else. And I just want to say that this card, once again, there are three women of different ages and different races, different colors, but they are in unison. They are all focused and they are all grounded and they are all back where they came from, on the hot sands of time, and there are three of them. That's the triune going, and this is a blades card, so it's cutting through that psychic energy or blockages that may be stopping you from focusing on what you need to focus on. And these cards are always for me as well as for you. So I just want to say, take the time to ground yourself. Take the time to be still. Even if it's just for a minute. Even if it's just you going into the bathroom and closing the stall at work, or whatever you're doing. But just sit there and be grounded. And some people say empty yourself. And some people will tell you to fill yourself. Whatever works for you, that is what you do to feel at peace and centered and grounded. Okay? Okay, let's move on to the next card. The next card was loyalty. And this is a very powerful card for me as well. I'm going to show it. There we go. Can you see it? And again, like I said, it doesn't, FFIONA does not hide the woman. She doesn't hide the yoni. She doesn't hide the breasts. And I want you to see this card really good. So, again, there are 3 women. 2 not facing, 1 facing. And as you can see, the one hand is covering over the breast, and one of the breasts, and the other one is not. There's a lot here. If you look at the fire and the flames, they are vibrating. Also, for me, with the power of 3. So this card has so much in it that can be seen and gathered from. I want to share with you FFIONA's explanation for this card. And again, the card is loyalty, 3 of flames. Loyalty assures us we are one with integrity. The truth is not alienated from us, nor are we alienated from truth. Loyalty is an instinctive and wholehearted bonding with truth, a bonding which takes account of the integrity of yourself, the integrity of the other, and the integrity of the whole. That is so deep. And Loyalty, the Lost Quality by Anna Hearn. Loyalty to your ideas or to a person means standing up for what you believe in spite of great odds or difficulties. In taking this stand, you might feel outnumbered or unprotected, as it takes faith and courage to hold your ground. The situation portrayed in this card could be a collective group rejecting the patriarchal actions of one member, or that member rejecting a commonly held opinion of the group. 2 people who are bonded in opinion have the power of 3 in any given situation, especially when their opinions are set against those of one person. It is obvious that power doubles and triples in groups, and we learn to use that strength as a positive force in our liberation. This fire card is also interpreted as division or divided loyalties within a circle. Its appearance can warn against going along with the crowd when you are not wholly in agreement with their ideas. Before taking a stand on any subject involving the emotion of loyalty, we suggest a process of listening within, searching, meditating, and then trusting your inner voice. Otherwise, your loyalty may be blind, tilted, or reversed. This card warns against false loyalty to a person or idea. Ethics are invariably tied to the concept of loyalty. Then it asks you to seek MAAT. And I'm going to share MAAT because MAAT is always coming up. And just give me a minute to find her card in the deck, and I'll keep talking. The ancient Egyptians there was the goddess MAAT. Here she is. This is her card. MAAT is balance, cosmic balance, balance in all things. I'm going to move my fingers so you can see. Okay. MAAT. And I advise you to do your research. There are 42 principles of MAAT. These are the original laws. These are universal laws. And if you are to follow them and if you are to be loyal to them, then you need to do your research on them. MAAT is MAAT. And this is what FFIONA Morgan has to say about the MAAT card, which is justice in the original tarot deck. Ma'at, the most ancient goddess of wisdom, is seen here as the guardian of justice, truth, and ethics of the universe. She sits near her ostrich plume, which she uses to gauge each human heart after death, and holds the scales in one hand and the Ankh, symbol of life, in the other. She is associated with the eye that watches all, and the heart, the place from which her judgments are made. Ma'at places the ostrich feather on one side of the scales, and on the other side she places the heart of the one who has died. If the heart has been kind and loving to others, it will be light, like Ma'at's feather. If not, it will be heavy and tilt the scales. Sometimes Ma'at, or her counterpart Athena of Greece, is portrayed with her eyes covered with a cloth, so she will be sure to be above prejudice and bribery. Now we know that that is the system of justice that has been given to us, and we need to revamp her and redevelop her and maybe move Miss Athena out the way and actually put Ma'at up there, whose eyes are not covered. Okay. Ma'at is that discerning quality within us which weighs and measures the causes and effects of a situation. Along with discernment, she also stands for accountability to others for our actions and to ourselves for our integrity. This is a skill we need to create, self-direction and power in our lives. Ma'at understands the principle of karma, whereby we find ourselves experiencing the consequences of our own acts, collectively or individually. Understand that, collectively or individually. She has a deep relation to Spider-Woman and the Fates, as she can make a difference between our being victims or creators in our destiny. When Ma'at's scales are tipped one way or the other, it is a sign that balance has been lost. When they are balanced, energy is freely moving. It is hard to remain honest and ethical in a society that incorporates lies into its structure. So societal values do change, and new ethics are appropriate for a new era. But some truths, like kindness, love, and cooperation, are universal. Ma'at is our symbol of these eternal principles. She is our own clear conscience and our affirmation that we have the power to create harmony. She represents a cellular integrity. Take that in. Hold it within your being. Understand a cellular integrity. If we could grasp the meaning of what cellular integrity is and take it from that standpoint, do you know immortality would be ours? There's so much that would open up inside of us and give us access to our inheritance on a deeper level, on a much deeper level. If we can maintain cellular integrity, but before we can maintain cellular integrity, We have to be able to know and understand what integrity is and be able to stand in that place, in that state, to adopt it and to make it a part of us so that nothing moves us from our integrity. And when we can put that integrity in power to empower us, it will work for us and not against us. And it will change our concept of time, our concept of aging, our concept of patience, and everything else. All of that will come from concentrating on integrity. Integrity of being, integrity of thinking. Okay. And again, Ma'at is wisdom, the most ancient of all wisdom. Balance. Okay. She represents cellular integrity, or a deeply ingrained sense of fairness that goes back through eons of evolution and instinctive understanding of the principle, kill only when necessary. Kill only when necessary. So many of us at this time are in a battle with ourselves. We're in this struggle of still trying to understand the concept of peace, the concept of nonviolence, and to regulate it or balance it out with the force of violence. It is a necessary balance that has to take place. And if you look at the forces of nature, she teaches you this. She teaches you not to be a victim. She teaches you not to inflict upon others what you don't want to happen to you. That is MAAT. That is the 42 principles. That is the law. Those are universal regulations. And we have to adapt to them. We have to incorporate them into our being and into our ways of knowing. And we have to teach these principles to our children so that they are able to incorporate this vibration, this frequency out into the world. And there is a healthy respect in knowing that there are consequences for your actions, and that those consequences are just in what you do. What you do comes back to you. There are mitigating circumstances, but that is always in the hand of the judges. And the judges are a select few. That is to be understood as well. And those judges are, they know the principles of Ma'at. They know that they will be judged by the judgments that they give. And it is not about greed. It is not about bribery. It is not about who this child belongs to, or the importance of this person's great-great-grandfather, or who came over on the Mayflower, or any of that kind of stuff. It is based on truth and integrity. Okay, I don't want to keep. I just was going to read these cards, and here I am going on and on. Okay. This doesn't mean that she instructs us to be victims of the loving or cruel, hence the ankh in her hand and the shield at her back, symbolizing the protection of these truths. The appearance of this card in a reading indicates the need for justice or moral decision. You may be working out your own sense of right and wrong about the situation, feeling guilt or righteousness. If you have not lived up to your own code of ethics, examine them to see if they still fit. And I want to show you this card again because there is great power in this card. As I look at it, she holds the scales and the ankh, and the shield behind her is full of eyes and drums, and there is a symbol of the sun and the two Wajit eyes, and you see the sun rays going all out. So here we go. There we go. Again, these cards are from FFIONA, and they are the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. And I just want to say this is right now my favorite deck. And I've had several favorite decks, but right now this is the one that is speaking to me so deeply and at such a high vibratory frequency that I'm so in tune with the meanings and what is being said and what is being given, that sometimes I don't even have to read what FFIONA says. I just pick up the card and I intuit what is there, what I see, and what the message is from Spirit for me through that card. And so, again, I advise you to purchase the set, FFIONA, and FFIONA Morgan, Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Okay, last card is, and this always kind of, the word has always kind of, no other way to put it but tripped me out, because there's so much attached to it. And before, I never really understood why I had all this strange energy attached to this word. And I've been called a witch a couple of times, and I'm like, I'm not a witch, not in the sense. My sense was green woman wearing black hat, riding a broom. That was my, understanding of what a witch is. And also from the Jehovah's Witnesses that it was demonic and it's a bad thing. But now I understand that a witch is a woman who is in tune with nature. She is a teacher of nature. She is a watcher and observer of nature. She communes with nature. Nature speaks through her. And she is there to serve, to give. But be aware that there is light and dark in all things. And we draw to us what we seek. So if you're seeking balance, it will come. Be patient. Be patient with yourself and understand that everything works on universal time, not the Gregorian calendar, not the minutes, seconds, and hours that we're used to. We have to understand universal divine time in order to understand these things. And we have to understand that we are so, like I said, limited in our sight. The evolution of humanity has taken eons. Eons. Do you know how much patience and unconditional love that takes to sit and watch your creation go through these stages, And it really is a beautiful thing. It's just like we as parents look at our children and our grandchildren. And we remember them, we remember giving birth to them. We remember when they were sick. We remember staying up with them. We remember enrolling them into school. We remember their first owie and boo-boo and, these kind of things. Their first loves, their first toy that they were attached to. And we remember these things, and we remember the teenager that comes. We remember the terrible twos, and we watch them as they grow. And you have to understand that this is what it is like for the Great Mother to watch us and watch over us. It is no different. This is what nature is. This is what nature teaches. These are the cycles of life. Okay, I'm going to quit babbling and show you the card of the witch. Here we go. Let's see. Can you see her? Let me bring it back. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. There she is. I love this card. It is so beautiful. There is so much to see in this card. Again, I love it. And I'm going to share what FFIONA says about this card. I turn the page, so let me find it. Here we go. The Witch. The Witch in the regular tarot deck is the Magician. Haha. And if you know anything about tarot, you know that, well, look it up. I'm not just going to sit here and yappity yap. Look it up. Seek your knowledge. Seek your understanding. Knock on these doors. They're here for you. They're ancient wisdom and archetypes that have existed for eons to teach you. And if you are not looking into them, if you are not diligently knocking and seeking wisdom, then you're not going to find her. She yells in the streets. But if your ears aren't open and attuned, you're going to miss her. You're going to think, some fool making all this noise. And you're going to miss her. You're going to miss the simplest of things. Because you don't know how to be still enough. You don't know how to accept wisdom. Your ego is so used to driving the car, the vehicle that is your mind and your body, that you don't know how to get out of the way, And wisdom is you got wisdom in the side seat and the shotgun seat, and she's telling you which way to go and how to do things, and you're like, I'm doing it my way. I'm not asking for your help. Shut up. I'm going this way. I'm doing it this way. And we get into trouble when we do that, people. Big time, believe me. So let me go and read what FFIONA has to say about the witch card, the Magician. Okay. The witch is in touch with goddess energy source, which she uses to create her reality. That is so powerful. I'm going to say it again because it is so powerful. The witch is in touch with goddess energy source, which she uses to create her reality. She is the agent or channeler of magic. She stirs and activates the forces of the cauldron, the window to her unconscious. There she plants the images the priestess has taught, so she can later arouse those energies and create what she chooses from them. She is in tune with psychic powers and ancient wisdom and is in control of her destiny. Very powerful. Very powerful. Um, I want you, Max Dashu is doing a series on witches and the suppressed history. Please check her out. Max Dashu on Facebook. Max Dashu also helped illustrate this book. Learn what has taken place with these women of nature. Learn what has been done to them throughout the centuries to silence them, to drive them underground so that this wisdom is demonized. That you say witch and people become scared, they become fearful, they draw, they draw within themselves and they try to protect themselves from this fear that has been placed upon this word. Just like the devil, just like so many words. And if you do not face your fears, if you do not go and seek the truth, then you're trapped inside a bubble and a cage that has been designed to contain you and your mind and your body and your spirit. And that is the real, sorcery. That is the real abuse of powers. Let me move on, because as you know, I will sit up here and just talk my head off. So let me get to it. The pentacle at her breast shows her loving connection to earth and the material realm and represents her ability to materialize. She knows that the earth energy is one medium in which her power is made manifest. The blade or knife at her belt represents the mental focus with which she sorts, selects, cuts, and dissolves spells. And I want you to understand what spells are. Words, people. Words, thoughts, thought forms are spells. When you say, I can't do this, you cast a spell upon yourself. Or when you tell a child, you can't do that, or you're stupid, you're casting a spell upon that child, and they take it within themselves, and they nourish it. You've planted a seed, and it grows. So I want you to understand that. And moving on. The wand and flames symbolize her will, which she uses to act with freedom and discipline. All 5 elements come into play for the witch. The air element is blades, represents our dreams and the ability to focus our minds on our wishes. The water element is cups, provides the passion and feeling for our desires. The fire element, flames, symbolize action and the will to realize desires. On the material plane, which is the earth element, pentacles, the ether element provides spiritual understanding and connection with the life force. The witch represents every woman consciously and sometimes unconsciously, using her natural ability to create her circumstance. It is our potential magic power. This card can also signify abundant creative activity and point to a fortuitous time for spell casting. And again, don't take spell casting as a negative thing. Spell casting is affirmations, is breathing life into your unconsciousness so that it breathes into your consciousness, so that you are able to create your awareness and your reality. You can manifest what you want. That's what spell casting is. That's what it is. Some people have all these different ways and formulas and words that you have to say and rituals that you have to do. But all you have to do is speak it with intent from a place within your heart and your centered being, and speak it and believe it and watch it come about. know yourself, know what your abilities are. It's the same thing, a spell is a prayer. And again, we need to recondition ourselves with the understanding and understanding of these ancient words that have been around and that we have given so much negative connotation to because of our ignorance. And that ignorance has been fostered by the system that exists, that doesn't want us to know that we can connect our thoughts and manifest our own reality. They want us only to experience this reality that they have manifested and that they keep going. It is time for that reality to cease to exist. And that only happens when you fill yourself with another way of being, of knowing, of empowering yourself to create your own reality, knowing that you have that capability within yourself. That is the birthing, the birth, death, and rebirth. That is the cycle of the mama. And we do ourselves great disservice in not knowing ourselves and not looking within the fiber of our being to see what we are really capable of. If we can shut ourselves down with disease, we can shut ourselves down with despair and depression. We also have the ability to do the flip side of that. We have the ability to program our bodies to live much longer than what they're doing. We also have the ability to switch from depression to bliss, to understanding things in a way, excuse me, that doesn't take soul force from us, that doesn't rely upon sorrow, misery, and pain, and self-hate. So, we have a lot to do to move forward. And the time is now, people. The time is now. So let's keep moving forward. We have only recently discovered that our witch foremothers were persecuted and killed during the Inquisition for using their powers. These women were healers, herbalists, midwives, people's doctors, and radical women who deviated from the strictly defined roles of their times. During the Dark Ages, 1200 to 1700, do your history, do your herstory. Understand what was taking place then and what is taking place now. Cause and effect, people. Cause and effect. Their power as healers threatened the church's attempts to create what we now know as the modern medical establishment. Modern estimates are that 9 to 12 million women were cruelly tortured, burned, drowned, and stoned to death because they were healers. They knew how to work with the vibration of love and balance and peace. And for this reason, they were tortured, brutally murdered. And I want you to understand that the energy of that still exists. And that energy is exploited still by those who carried out these sentences and these atrocities. And it is up to us to change the vibrations so that peace can reign in those places and spaces. Okay. Modern estimates are that 9.9 to 12 million women were cruelly tortured, burned, drowned, and stoned to death. In America in the 1800s, hundreds were hanged at Salem, Massachusetts for practicing witchcraft. Later in the 40s and 50s, a modern method, shock treatment, was used to keep women in our place, not to mention the more subtle psychological burns of ostracism and non-support. People are still afraid of the word witch, as it has been twisted into destructive and frightening meanings. The wicked old witch syndrome has replaced the transformer of energy. The wicked old witch syndrome has replaced the transformer of energy. Nevertheless, we are slowly reclaiming the ancient craft that is our birthright and remembering the true word, the true meaning of that word, which is wise woman, which means wise woman, not wicked woman, wise woman, in tune with nature, in tune with her feminine aspect and her masculine aspect, balanced, able to speak to the plants and the herbs and know what to do, know how to heal, know what to cure, know how to deal with becoming pregnant or not being pregnant. Understanding the body, its nature, its purpose, and how to balance its energies and vibrations for the best of the community and for the planet. We have a right to do magic, but in doing so, we also have responsibility for our actions. As patriarchy has shown, power can be extremely destructive in the wrong hands, and magic is power. When doing magic, natural laws of the universe come into play, and being successful at the craft is contingent upon loving, life-supporting motives. Being a witch involves the practice of the life-affirming and nature-oriented religion called the craft. If this card is tilted or upside down, check your ethics and motives carefully when working your spells, making wishes, or setting energy in motion with a particular purpose in mind. This position may also indicate blocked power. It is balancing to send negative energy back to its source, which permits the creator to take responsibility for their acts. And I want to just slow it down for a minute and say this. The ancients knew it wasn't an eye for an eye. It wasn't, you do this to me and I'm going to get vengeance back upon you. The ancients understood the laws of karma. They understood the universal laws. They understood vengeance belongs to the Lord, to give it to the Creator, to give it to the source to work it out, and that it would be worked out. And that is where you place your faith. You don't take it upon yourself to curse, to contribute to someone's downfall or demise because they hurt you, or they sent out something to hurt you, or they disrespected you, or they didn't love you, or whatever, feelings that you have. Always be in touch with your feelings and always know, give it to the Creator, give it to the source, and it will be recycled. It will be transformed, transmuted, whatever needs to happen. Give it back to Source, the creator of light, dark, and all of it. Okay? Some people send it out into the universe. Some people send it to, back to that person. And that's not what you do. Give it to the universe. Okay. Alright, I was looking at Isis instead of going where I need to go. Okay. It is balancing to send negative energy back to its source, which permits the creator to take responsibility for their acts. Psychic defense, self-defense for women is as valid as any other kind. And that is so important, that we know how to protect ourselves psychically. One of the ways is, for me, is this. This is pyrite. It diffuses the energy, cleans the energy. It's also known as fool's gold. There are many things that protect you psychically if you choose to be protected. Your belief is your main focus. If you believe that someone is capable of hurting you, then they will be. But if you say to yourself, and if you know within your highest form of being that you are protected. You know who my protector is? The Great Mama. The Great Mama. So when you're coming up against me, you battling her. When you're sending something against me, you're sending it against her. And I don't have to fight with you. I don't have to do anything with you. I let Mama deal with you. And that is where we need to be. Put it in Mama's hands. Because ain't nobody going to clean house like Mama can. And ain't nobody going to straighten it out like Mama can. And you don't bring the karma upon yourself when you allow Mama to work it out. Allow her to work it out. And you're not going to please everyone. So don't think you are. There's going to always be those who, and I'm just going to put it out there just like it is, who are petty. And they're petty for whatever reason. And it's not with judgment that I say that they're petty, because they're petty for their own life reasons and their own choices or their own unconsciousness. But they have to find a way to not be petty. They have to surrender. Okay? They have to surrender. You have to surrender your ego. You have to tell your ego, look, you're not driving this vehicle. Get your behind in the back seat and shut up. Buckle up. You know? You have to take charge. You have to be the one to take charge. You have to set things in motion. Okay, I didn't mean for this to be so long, but here we go. Psychic defense for women is as valid as any other kind. Distasteful or negative energies coming at you can be reflected back to their source. A good spell of protection is to cast a many-faceted mirror around yourself or wash your aura in golden light. In golden light. A long time ago, I was watching Sylvia Brown on Montel Williams. He would always have her on there, and I just love Sylvia Brown. She would crack me up so much because she was so real, you know. And I don't care what anybody else thinks about her. Um, I'm having a problem with the light. There we go. There. Okay. um, I love Sylvia Brown because she would tell you to put yourself in a bubble and let that bubble be surrounded with this golden white light. And when you do that and you learn to put yourself there and you learn to let these rays of light, and they're different color rays, and they do different things, and again, learn, search, research, look for it. If you don't want to read all that stuff, there are people making videos on it. There are audio files. I know that we're in a technological, place where no one has time to read like we used to. And so many devices have become available. But in those devices, instead of just playing applications and losing time, do something to fill your soul and your spirit, to nourish them. Look into the different rays of light. Look into ways of protecting yourself. Look into ways of grounding yourself. Look into ways of changing the vibrations on the planet and sending out love and integrity. Speak upon these things. That's casting spells. Speak the truth in these matters and watch them transform. Just watch, watch, watch. And know, and sometimes it's not just enough to watch, but if that's your first step, then that's your first step. Everyone is not in the same, place. And we have to understand that. And we have to have the patience of the mama, how she sat back for eons for us to, finally start getting things and for things to start working and the vibration to fill this planet and heal it. It's starting. And I am so thankful to be here at this time and to be used in the manner that I'm being used. And again, I just want to say thank you again to FFIONA and the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, because it has opened up a lot of things and simplified it so much, Okay, back to the witch card. A witch is one who has power over her own life, one who makes her own rules, one who refuses to submit to self-denial, one who recognizes no authority with a greater esteem than her own, who is more loyal to herself than to any abstraction, one who is untamed, one who says, I am a witch, aloud 3 times. One who transforms energy, one who can be passionate about her ideals and values as they are changing. One who is explosive, whose intensity is like volcanoes, floods, wind, fire. One who is disorderly, chaotic. One who is ecstatic. One who alters reality. From Ripening by Lee Lanning and Vernette Hart. And as you can see, that is the end of this tarot reading. And again, I want to hold up the witch card. And I want you to see the cauldron. And remember again that the cauldron is her unconscious thoughts. Okay? I want you to understand the symbols of what you see. That everything has a meaning in here, from the moon to the trees to the blue fire to the wand stirring the cauldron to the pinnacle on her chest to the colors she's wearing to the hair standing up on her head. There's so much there. And again, this is the traditional magician card. So learn about yourself. Become open to receiving the information. Become open to sharing the information. And step away from the fears that have been planted and placed, inside, that has filled our ways of knowing and clouded our understanding and given us fear of certain things. Fear controls. Fear controls completely, and when you have this fear that has been given these dark consequences, it's very hard to break free from those thoughts, from those old thoughts and old thought patterns and beliefs, because it's taken centuries for them to be planted there in the first place, and it takes dedication to break through those old belief systems and find what is new. And this newness is being shown, the sun is giving us these solar flares. The cosmic energy is aligning. Mama is doing her thing, and we are getting ready to evolve, and some of us will choose to remain poor. And that poorness is a poor understanding, a poor awareness, a poor self-consciousness, and that poorness means that you don't love yourself, that you can't, that you're blocked, that you've basically given up. And I pray that something touches you. I pray that something opens your soul. I pray that soul pieces are returned back to you so that you become empowered in knowing who you are, and that you gain the balance you need to climb up any mountain or any obstacle that is set before you or that you come across. I'm going to close this video now. I'm going to stop it. But I just, again, wanted to say thank you so much for those who will watch it, for those who will share it. The information is there. Again, I wholeheartedly advise you to find a system that works for you, to find a lot of people say this is divination, but I say it's focusing and using your intuition and learning how to guide yourself, self-guidement through the archetypes that have been around for ages. This is FFIONA Morgan. This is the Daughter of the Moon Tarot. And again, I love it. And if you want guidance, find a path. Find a way to identify that path. Become familiar with the environment of that path. Become familiar with the words. Become familiar with the principles. And know the divine you. And in saying that, I again am getting ready to stop this video. And I just want to say again, namaste. And I love you. And the more of us who become awakened, the more of us who begin to see and hear what Spirit is telling us, how we need to evolve, what we need to do to move on to the next phase, the more changes you will see, the more positive changes you will see taking place on the earth, because as above, so below. Understand that, understand it, and empower yourself with that knowledge. So, namaste.